Hey guys, this is Aaron with InGrained. I'm with Brothers Brewery, and we have today with us Bob Meyer from Meyer Brothers Old Fashioned Mix. So introduce yourself, Bob. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Bob Meyer. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing great, Bob. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem, dude. So a lot of people, because there are people all over listening to this, they may not know who you are. You're primarily in the state of Wisconsin, correct? Are you outside the state of Wisconsin at all?
A little bit in Upper Michigan.
Okay.
5 counties, maybe.
All right, sounds good. So you're, and then you ship as well from your website.
Correct.
So never mind. Maybe people know you from China for all we know. Who knows, man? So, let's go through what Meyer Brothers Old Fashioned Mix is, and then we'll kind of start going through like a story of like Meyer Brothers and how you guys started your deal.
Sounds good.
Okay. You start. What is Meyer Brothers Old Fashioned Mix?
Gotcha. First time doing this. But our Old Fashioned Mix originates, my parents had a supper club in a little town, St. Nazianz, Wisconsin, which is in Manitowoc County. In case you don't know, it's only about 720 people.
Why was it called St. Nazianz?
That's the name of the town. It's
why?
Old saint, I don't know. The founder way back when.
Okay, sounds good.
In the 1800s.
Okay.
Before my time, believe it or not. But anyway,
you look like you're 32. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. My parents had a supper club. Bought it in 1962, before I was born. Not much though. Anyway, my dad decided, because everybody loves old fashions in Wisconsin, the signature cocktail of Wisconsin. Yeah. And all of a sudden, he realized on a Friday or a Saturday night, he's muddling all these old fashions. So he just took all those flavors and would bottle it every week. And as a kid, I was wondering, what is he doing? What's this red stuff? But everybody just loves. And anyway, when I was 10, I was the glass washer, and pretty much all the drinks on a Friday night with 400 people screaming, it was always old fashioned. So the mix makes it real convenient and consistent and easy. Because typically in a 750 bottle, you can get 50 cocktails out of this bottle.
Okay. And that's a 750 milliliter. So that's like 24 ounces?
25.4, I believe, something like that.
Like how we just had that right there. Yeah.
We also have a 375, half the size.
Okay.
You'll get about 25 cocktails out of that one. But all your muddled flavors are in the mix. It's very heavy. So what's key when I do a lot of sampling throughout the state is I recommend to customers just think 3 to 1. So 3 parts of your liquor. Usually it's 1.5 ounces in a standard rocks glass. And only 1 part mix, about a half ounce. And you just fill the rest up if you like sour, sweet, or club soda. Or you could do a proper old-fashioned. Just do the liquor and the old-fashioned mix, 3 to 1 or even 4 to 1 if you did a proper or traditional old-fashioned.
So this is education to me. I had no idea. We serve thousands and thousands of people, and I didn't even know that. So a proper old-fashioned does not use a wash. It doesn't use
exactly
a wash. It's so a lot of people who may watch this have no idea what old fashions are. Other than I think there was a movie that came out with Ryan Gosling or something. Anyway, that really popularized the old fashioned kind of nationwide. But in Wisconsin, it's our state drink. So in Wisconsin, when people at Cummins they say I'll have an old fashioned, and maybe they're just trying to be hip with the cool Wisconsinites. That's not just how you in Wisconsin we have a lot of follow-up questions, right? We're okay, so you want old fashioned, great. Do you want it with brandy? Do you want it with whiskey? Do you want it with bourbon? You know what I mean? What is it? And then on top of that, do you want cherries? Do you want oranges with it? Do you want olives? Some people like it with olives, right?
Correct.
And then other people are okay, now we talk a wash, which is usually either sour, sweet, or press. Press is 50% sweet, 50% sour, correct?
Typically, what I do press is it's a club soda and sweet, half and half. What's funny about that is we do a lot of shows. For instance, we do Kohler Food and Wine, and a lot of the customers are not from Wisconsin. So when I'm making the drink, they're thinking, what are you putting soda in for? I just want a traditional, proper old-fashioned. And then you just do the liquor and the mix, and that's what they're used to. That's a classic old style. That's how it started way back in the 1800s, as far as I know, in the traditional old-fashioned.
And that has no fruit in it at all, right?
Oh, yeah, they still muddle all that stuff in there.
Do they do a sugar cube with that then, or do they not?
Yeah. It's basically just think the liquor and the mix is all really is. There's no splash on top or fill it up with sweet, sour, or club soda.
Liquor in the mix, and your mix is it. Got it.
A lot of places too, people say, "Oh, you want a Wisconsin old fashioned?" If you were traveling somewhere out of Wisconsin,
sure. Let's say the dirty state of Illinois. No, I'm kidding, Illinois. So yeah.
No comment on that one. But anyway, I like living in Wisconsin.
Yeah, he lived in Illinois. That's why I made that joke because
briefly.
He's trying to downplay that years anyway.
Yeah, so, don't want to go back there.
Oh well, teach their own.
Too much traffic for me.
So I'm like, yeah, oh, there you go. I was like, my family lives in Illinois. So anyway. So that's an education. And so let's go through what is in an old fashioned. Okay. I purposely just brought my glass and this, and we were going to do either a proper or a wash old fashioned so people can see what the hell it is. Right. And then from there, we're going to deal with your mix, and we're going to talk about what's in the mix. What is actually, what makes you guys your mix versus like, I don't know, some of these other bums out there. So, well, who was that big one? Jerry Lowe or Jero. There we go. They're like nationwide. They're like, they're just.
As far as I know, they started around Prohibition.
Oh, really?
As far as I know.
Well, here I am insulting Jero, and they're just like.
They've been around for a while.
Who are we to mess with them?
What I'm seeing in the industry, though, in stores, up until maybe 3 or 4 years ago, they had the old original. They still do. It's rather inexpensive. It was. I don't want to bash, but
no, just say it, dude. We're here.
It's basically red food coloring and corn syrup.
Sure.
And maybe some other flavors, but
okay. I don't know what that means, but okay. Okay, sounds good.
Personally, I don't like it.
Okay, well, yeah, obviously.
Tastes a little fake to me, but
yeah.
And then I think they came out with something like more like a premium type thing recently.
For a premium product?
Yeah, so the price point is kind of close to what ours is right now.
Yeah, and that's great. I have no idea what your price point is, forgive me, but I know that you guys are considered some of the premium aspects of that. I'm sure there's a couple others out there, but you guys in the state of Wisconsin, you're one of the nicest products we got, and that's why I have you on here. So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, no problem, buddy.
Everything I see, usually we're the most expensive on the shelf, which can turn people off because it's so expensive. But
it's the best product on the shelf.
When I do a lot of samplings in stores, and I tell the customer, you only need a half an ounce, you get 50 cocktails out of here. And that real expensive bitters, that little paper bottle there, that's what's in here.
Yeah.
Without giving too much away. But
sure.
It tastes like you muddle it by scratch. Get the ratio correct.
Okay, sounds good. So why don't we open this bad boy up? Why don't we make an old fashioned?
Another thing I want to say real quick about the Wisconsin old fashioned, people, they want to try an old fashioned, they just automatically think it's brandy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be. It could be whiskey, bourbon, rye, Southern Comfort, rum old fashions.
Rum?
Yeah.
I never drank one of those.
Dark rum old fashioned is pretty good.
So like a really dark, older barrel aged rum.
Correct.
Like the guys out of what is that town? What is it called? What's that town? Portage? Is it Portage or Plymouth? Plymouth. There we go. Plymouth has a rum distillery in it, don't they?
Yeah, he's a great guy. He actually uses our stuff over in his distillery.
There now. Oh. What's the name of it? Plank Road?
Plank Road Distillery.
I hear that they're just like the best.
If all goes well, I'll be there this Saturday.
All right.
I'm going to spend the night down there. But
hanging out with family?
Yeah, we're going to a Irish thing there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Irish pub there. But
that's awesome.
Like talking into walking over to the Plank Road.
All right. Well, let's make this thing. Tell me what we should do. Forgive me, I did not bring a jigger. We're just going to be like winging it. Is that okay?
Yeah, I could have brought one, but that's fine. Is this what we're using?
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Watered down ice. I'm sorry.
No problem. That works.
We're just going for it.
So we're using a state...
we're using Tattersall. So Tattersall, we did a collaboration with them. That's actually with us. So we did that, and then they aged it in one of our Baltic Porter whiskey barrels. So, yeah.
That sounds great.
I know. It's actually really good. So,
are they out of River Falls?
They moved to River Falls. So they used to be in Greater Minneapolis, Twin Cities area.
Okay.
And then they were getting so large that the state was going to like remove their tap room. And tap room in the beer and alcohol area is a huge source of revenue, right? We all know that they, make 100% across the bar versus 20% commonly selling it to a distributor or whatever. So as a result, they were like, no, we're not going to give up our tap room. We're not going to do that. You know what? We're going to just say fuck you to Minnesota, and we're going to move to the great state of Wisconsin. And River Falls was very close to them, and they were able to buy a Shopko, and they took over a Shopko. So, yeah, so that's that. Enough about them. We're talking about you and me today. Anyway, so.
Well, I'm glad I know that because now it's on my list to another place I can check out.
You should check them out, dude. They're actually like genuinely the nicest people in the world. And it's very, very rare of me to speak highly of people.
One thing
bad quality of mine.
On that note, one thing I would say is it's amazing how many state distilleries are very high quality.
Yeah.
And their liquors go really well with our mix.
Oh, yeah.
I can go right down the list. Across Distillery, Great Lakes Distillery, Hatch.
Hatch is great.
Driftless Glen. I mean, those are all State Line and Madison. They're all great.
State Line is amazing. Forgive me. I'm just like, I'm not mean to, but I really enjoy their product. Some of these distilleries out there, not gonna say who, but I don't know. They just don't hit the mark for me. But all the ones you listed, I'm like, yep. And then that Plank Road, I just tried their rum. That was utterly fantastic too. And honestly, most rums suck. They're just like taste like burned garbage.
Try that in an old fashioned.
I will. I will.
Because I haven't yet, but I'm going to.
Well, yeah. If you weren't driving, I'd make you stay and drink like 3 of them with me.
Like the few old fashions are always good.
All right. With my watered down glass. Unfortunately, this interview didn't start until I wanted to, so my ice already melted a little bit. Apologies ahead of time. I will be drinking this throughout the whole thing. So
one more quick thing about state. I was down by La Crosse Distillery last week.
Sure.
Phenomenal. The Robbers Rye with our old fashioned is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Their story is amazing with that. Did they ever talk to you about that? Poor as I educate. So
yeah,
they did tell you?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, their relationship with Death Door and everything. I just love that story.
That is so cool.
Yeah. Free pour. It's all right. I will.
I'm kind of blind pour.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just gonna be like, do the count. Do the what? 1, 2, and 2 fingers. What are we gonna do? You do what you want. There's no judgment here. I'm drinking it.
I'm trying to gauge like 3 parts maybe.
There you go. Perfect. That seems 3 parts. That seems
good enough to me.
So then there's 1 part of this.
1 part of the mix.
Okay, like I said, we're all free pouring here. I like this.
Gauge this.
That's good.
Might have been a little heavy.
That's all right. You know what? I like them heavy. Don't worry about it. Bob's like cleaning up, making sure the wrappers are all good.
You're going to do it with sour, I assume, right?
I did. That's why I did squirt. So squirt is our version of sour for a lot of people. They don't know that. So
you'd have more ice in there, so I'm kind of going to cut it off right about there.
Sounds good.
What we used to do.
I'm drinking this unless you're not drinking this, are you? Can I drink that? Okay.
I can't do that because then I'm on air and
Anyway, talk to me.
Got my own rule. I always say back in the day when my parents had the supper club, my dad always used for the sour was 50-50. That makes it's phenomenal. It's, in my opinion, a little better than squirt, but you can't find it anymore. I
was going to say, I've never even heard of this brand. This is a drink brand? 50-50 was a drink brand? That's like Jolly Good. Like people didn't know what Jolly Good, like 50, a lot of the young people don't know what Jolly Good is.
It was a huge brand. It has a little more of a grapefruit punch to it, and I think they're out of business. But I was still able to get that to me like probably pre-COVID. You could still find it. You can't find it the last 3-4 years.
My God, that's so sad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's classic.
Yeah. That's like man, death of a culture right there. Almost like your dad was like 50-50's it, and now we're like, we gotta drink squirt.
There's always 7-Up too. I mean, you could use Sprite for the sweet, but I don't know. Something about 7-Up is, my opinion, the way to go.
So you prefer 7-Up over what's the name of the rest?
Sprite
or 7-Up.
Yeah.
So you're more of like a Pepsi fan versus Sprite. I think is a Coca-Cola brand. I like your style, my friend. You're just like, yeah, stick it to Coke. Anyway, so, okay, cool. So, let's talk about this drink. Let's talk about this product as I'm slamming it down. I'm going to be waddling out of here in a minute. So, anyway.
I hope I made that the
You
right
made it
way.
great.
Okay.
Let me tell you, he was eyeing it the whole time, and I was like watching. I could see his hand shaking. He was doing great.
I'm actually jealous because I could go for one right now. I just have a drive back home, but
Yeah, so Bob is very responsible. He's what we all aim to be in the alcohol industry. He does not drink and drive at all, like 100%. Won't even take a beer. And I'll be honest with you, when I go to a bar who has my product, I'm always like, give me 3. And then I sit there for 3 hours like a responsible adult. So anyway, let's talk about your mix-up. Go ahead.
I do like to have a drink, but either I'm crashing at the house, hotel, cab, Uber. Otherwise, I'm just not going to, yeah.
Next time, like I said, we're sticking you up in our bed and breakfast next door. I'm parking you there, and that way you're like able to enjoy a drink with me versus like sit and watch me drink like a creeper, you know.
Trust me, many times where I live in De Pere, Wisconsin, I have a little loop where I can walk to bars.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's kind of nice.
What's your favorite? Who do you hang out with? What's your favorite party to go to, or most common? Maybe not favorite. That's not a good word to throw out on the show. What's the one you go to the most often? Probably the closest.
Unfortunately,
They hung up the coat?
They leased it to something else. So now it's a totally different theme. It was an Irish pub.
Was it Kitty O'Reilly's or who? Or no, that's in Sturgeon Bay.
It was the Ennis pub right on Fox River.
Ennis is gone?
The same company owns St. Brendan's.
Yeah, they own Ennis Inn and St. Brendan's.
In what County Clare. They
In
own,
Milwaukee. Yeah.
The Clark Hotel in Waukesha and Ashland on the Lake down in Kenosha, I believe.
Dude, this guy's just a walking encyclopedia. Anyway, so what did they do with their building?
It's leased out. It's going to be a Thai restaurant, I believe.
Oh, that's sad.
But anyway, it was so close, 100 yards away. But
Damn.
There's another place I've been hanging lately. It's La Vie Tavern. It's kind of a wine themed place, but they have she's getting some really good bourbons now.
Yeah, you're becoming like a bourbon aficionado. I've never knew that about you until like today, that you were like really deep into bourbons. Like, those that just like out of nowhere, you're just like, hey man, I'm going to become a bourbon guy or what?
No, I've been drinking bourbon for about, I don't know, 10 years.
Oh, okay.
As I've
Sounds like, yeah.
gotten older, it's like, hey, I want to try that one.
Yeah, a nicer bourbon, you know? Only going to live for so long, right? Let's try some of this nice stuff, right? Anyway, let's talk about your mix. Well, you know, you and I could just, you and me just do these side roads. We start to talk and we're just like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about
I know, it's pretty easy to go sideways.
All right, let's talk about this. Old-fashioned mix, Meyer Brothers old-fashioned mix. You have multiple products, okay? This is just the one we're talking about for the moment. We'll go through the other ones in a second after this. So when people get this, okay, one, you know, when you look at it, you got sugar in here, you got bitters, and water, and then some other stuff that are mainly preservatives, right?
Well, there's orange and cherry flavor in there as well, because when you muddle, you're crushing all those flavors together. We want it to mirror exactly like a muddled old fashioned. That's why my dad did this back then.
Got it. So, because you know, people, we recently served this. I serve this always at our bar. So, like anyone who comes down to our place is always here. So, someone recently asked me, because they drink another product. They're like, what's in this? And I was like, let me read those for you. And they were like, is there cherries in it? I was like, I think so. That's why it's red. And yeah, but I didn't know the answer. So thank you for clarifying that. So there is either cherries or oranges actually in it, or flavoring.
The flavors, yeah.
Got it. Sounds good. Because they asked me about that, and I was just like, I think so, but I didn't know what to tell them.
I mean, you can see it's very thick, very.
Yeah, it's the best product out there. But
so you get a lot of servings per bottle. Usually, on average, about 50 with the big, larger bottle.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, anyway, so basically, you know, it's a concentrate, and that way, a lot of these bars, do they even need to add oranges or anything if someone's drinking it proper, or should you always do that for the drink, or what do you recommend?
Yeah, you can garnish it with an orange and cherry, but I wouldn't like crush or muddle.
You wouldn't add that. You wouldn't need to add that because it's already in there.
Yeah, a little funny story.
Tell me what.
I've had a couple of nieces and nephews get married, and we always donate cases of this.
Very nice of
and
you.
Then not knocking bartenders, but usually. So I'll bring this in, and this goes back like 6 years ago. Yeah. My niece, we walk in as we were bar hopping, and now the cocktail hour started, and the bartenders, people are like, this is terrible. And I watched what they were doing. They're adding a 1-to-1, so basically 2 shots of liquor and 2 shots of this, and they were adding sugar and bitters on top of it.
I was just going to say, I was like, I know what they did. Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So my younger brother, the dad, straightened them out, and then they were, this is all amazing.
Yeah, that's a fantastic product. This is great. My gosh.
It just happened. It didn't happen because I wouldn't, ahead of time, I talked to the manager of the place.
Sure.
My niece got married in September, and I donated a bunch of cases, and they had an open bar for 2 hours.
Wow.
And I showed all the bartenders how to make it, and it was kind of funny because once I trained them, they drank it like, this is amazing. So now I go from one bar to the next bar. I go across, and there's girls. I asked for, she wasn't in the training. Three girls. I showed how to make this.
Sure.
She goes, I guess we got to use this. She sticks the bottle in my face. I go, I'm on the label, but that's okay. It's real simple. And then she came up to me after the wedding and said, oh my God, this is amazing. This is
a wonderful product.
Yeah. It's so easy. Makes it so quick.
Well, a lot of bars that I actually talked to people because I said that you were going to come and hang out with me. One former owner says that they use your product exclusively and that they use it because one, it is so fast and it's consistent. Because a lot of people always are trying to get, when they go in, they want to have a consistent cocktail. They want to be like, oh, I have Amanda on as a bartender tonight, and then tomorrow I have Jerry on, and I'm going to go get a drink after drink at these places, and I want my cocktail to taste exactly the same. And so I think that's why they were so complimentary, because it's like every time they do it and they use your product, they're able to keep the consistency.
Nailed it. Consistent, convenient, fast, efficient. Once you get that ratio, sometimes you go to a bar doing a pint class, well, maybe just keep that 3-to-1 ratio liquor to mix, and you should be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. That's amazing. So, all right. So, a couple of things I want to know. I just want to know, who are all these people on here? Who are these people? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We're trying to go after, like, way back in the early 60s, the Rat Pack was big. Like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin back then.
Sure.
And my dad, when he bartended, he always kind of had, like, a vest on, and a white shirt and a tie and all that.
Because it's a supper club. It's proper.
Different era back then. Yeah, the music, then the dinner music or whatever. So yeah, I have 5 brothers. Okay. 6 with myself. We tried to, match that. Like we're all in suits. Mm-hmm. And then the one in the middle, I guess technically is supposed to be me. Anyway, but we put those on top of the label. You take away the silhouettes. That was actually the cover of the menu. It was red with the gold crest. So you looked at, it's called Meyer's Dinner Club.
Okay.
And then when I designed the label, I just thought, well, let's get the brothers on there and get these. I had a graphics guy put this all together.
Sure.
Kind of that retro look.
Yeah.
I mean, some people think it's too old school. Mm-hmm. Think we should update. But
I think it's great, buddy.
We're after the retro effect from way back when. Kind of want to stick to that.
Sounds good to me. You don't got to convince me, man. I like it.
It's kind of an honor to my parents, too.
That's more what I'm saying. I'm like, the fact that I know that back symbol is like your menu symbol of when your parents were in Meyer's
Dinner Club.
Meyer's Dinner Club.
About 30 years.
In St. Nazianz.
Correct.
And your dad was a plumber while he did that, too, right?
No.
I don't know why I thought he was a plumber. Was your dad a plumber?
No.
What did your dad do? Electrician? What did he do?
No, that's what I used to do.
Oh, you used to be an electrician.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. No, he worked in construction before he bought the bar.
Oh, okay. So he finished his life doing this. Like, was this the last thing he did, or before he retired, or did he do a lot more?
Well, he retired and then became a car salesman because he was very social. He could talk to anybody.
Yeah, you got to, right?
He'd walk in a bar, and everybody knew him, and next thing you know, they're best friends. They're drinking together. It's like, I don't know how you do that.
Just talented dude.
Yep.
Super talented.
My mom was real quiet, and my dad's real social, so it was a good mix.
Oh, that's nice. Did your mom run the kitchen and he ran the bar?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
well, certain times, in a pinch, so he had,
He had to jump in the back. Sure. Yeah. Probably when you were being born or something. Who knows?
I just know when I was real young, it was a smaller place, and then they expanded. I want to say mid 70s.
Okay.
Pretty much doubled the size of the bar and knocked out some walls where we used to live. We moved upstairs. There was an older lady living up there at the time. $25 a month for a whole flat above the bar.
When was this? 1932? When was this?
This is like 75 maybe.
Wow, $25
a month.
And she was like, "Well, yes, I ain't moving nowhere."
So we move up there, and my dad added another dining room that used to be where our bedrooms were, and then where the old living room was became a game room with a pool table and then pinball machines.
Sure.
I don't know what that's, whatever.
Sure, whatever the game.
I can't remember the name of the game, but we used to get on that all the time and shoot down airplanes or whatever it was.
I don't know, man.
I can't remember the name of it.
When did your parents' operation stop? How old were you? Were you already out of the house when it was time?
Oh yeah,
to...
yeah. Okay. I'd say officially probably end of 1989. So 1962 to 89 was it 27 years ish? Yeah, 27 and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, almost 27. Can't do math right now.
All that alcohol you've been drinking, Bob.
All the caffeine.
Oh, there you go. Sundrop. Yeah. Wisconsin staple. Anyway, cool. That's awesome, man. You know, and you guys, so you're the primary runner of the company, right? Like you're kind of like the head of it? Because when you look at this, you think that there's 7 or 6 people involved.
Well, technically they all are, but
you're the main manager.
I do all the day-to-day stuff, everything. The only thing I don't do is our website and social media.
And your brother helps with that, right?
and and the online orders, but it's something that's good to have though. So people in Florida can get our stuff, or
that's
Arizona, Texas. We get customers from all over the country. Yeah,
well, and because you guys do mailing as well as your product, right?
Yes, with just strictly the old-fashioned mix and some other stuff. We sell glassware.
Sure, merchandise.
Exactly.
Merch. The old merch.
T-shirts and hats, which they don't sell too much, but
why not?
It's there.
I'm going to go online tonight and buy like 3 of these. My God.
We don't have any of these left.
Oh, sorry.
You can always get more made, but there's not a big demand for them right now.
That's okay. That's okay. So you guys do this, and then one of the other products that you actually make, you do a canned cocktail, correct? That is correct. Tell me more. Yeah, that's relatively new. We came out with that right when COVID hit. It was end of March of 20. Yep. But that product, it was, I won't say 10 years in development. It was in the original business plan, which I put together in 2006. Wow. And I knew this is the first thing I want to do because my dad and mom got rid of the bar in 89. Everywhere we went, people said, your dad had the best old-fashioned, whatever that recipe was. We got to do it again. And then finally in 06, 07, I didn't like what I was doing, and I wrote a business plan and started this company. That's awesome. But in the original business plan was the canned old-fashions, and it took that long to get it to market. Well, we had a lot of hurdles that right at launch, and I want to say 2012, that didn't go through, and then 15, that didn't go through. I could talk. You could talk about 5 hours about all the money spent and whatever, and all the journey. Yeah, until we finally found the right person to do it for us. Yeah, because we don't have a distillery; it's real liquor. And the real liquor that you get them actually. It's out of Madison, correct? Oh yeah, we have that produced by Plain Spoke Cocktails. Okay. Tom down there, he does a great job. He also has a cocktail lounge on downtown Madison, just off the square. Oh, cool. Yeah. And does he use your mix there? I hope he does. He better use your mix. He has his own line of cocktails too. Oh, okay, got it. So it's a complimentary thing. Got it. We're like I don't want to say co-packer, but we own the recipe, the royalty rights to our recipe, and then he has a facility to do it for us, the canning and the liquor.
mean, I can't store booze, you know.
Yeah,
I don't have
you don't have a you don't have a TTB license or anything.
That's
like
a
that.
whole other thing. That's
Trust me, I know all about it, man. I own a brewery, so yeah.
a lot of hoops you have to go through.
Yeah, poor guy. I'm sorry, man. Oh, good. But anyway, okay, cool.
And with that, we have 3 flavors. We have the brandy sweet old fashioned, whiskey sour, and we have a bourbon sour. And the whiskey sour is more like a Canadian style whiskey.
Okay.
Like a rye.
Is that the intention, or is that just okay?
So bourbon, bourbon is a whiskey, but it's it's made differently and tastes differently.
Yep,
so
single oak barrel versus
use one time.
Yeah.
Aged, 3 years minimum.
Depends. 2 years is 2 4 years for a statement of. There's a fancy dancy word for if it's 4 years. Anyway, yeah. And a certain percentage of alcohol. 100 proof, yes.
And 51% corn.
Yes, it does. Oh,
okay.
Look how smart you are.
Not really.
Yeah, as a guy who makes beer, I started this mainly to talk to people in the alcohol industry, so I can learn more too. So those products are available mainly in grocery stores, or a lot of people serve them on-prem, which means like bars and restaurants, or is it mainly off-premises?
Mainly off.
Okay. So that's like grocery stores, C stores, which is Quick Trips, stuff like that.
It's not a Quick Trip, but your festival foods,
sure.
Woodman's, Total Wine, places like that. Down in the Milwaukee area in Madison, there's some Total Wines, very large liquor stores.
Yeah, they're monster creatures. Yeah, trust me. Total Wines are another level. So, yeah, and
Oh, and Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee out of Green Bay, right? Or the De Pere? Where are they out of?
Green Bay. They're based. There was 3 stores around the Madison market, and just recently it looks like they're expanding.
Yeah.
Last weekend I was in the new Hy-Vee store out in La Crosse, and I did a couple samplings, a couple days out there.
There you go. They have a bar there, right?
They have a bar. Yeah.
I know, because I think my beer sold there. So yeah,
I looked. It is.
Yeah, we're doing something right, So that's
you
good
could
job,
go
Kay.
to the store and sit at a bar at the same time.
I know, man. Hey, well, if we only canned our product,
that's right.
So that's awesome. So those are the products that you primarily have. So you have 3 canned cocktails, and then you have your old fashioned mix. Is there anything else you're doing right now, or is that it?
We do have 2 other products in our portfolio. They don't sell a whole lot, but it's in our portfolio. One is just basically a simple syrup.
Good to have.
It's got our logo. Everything looks the same except the label's white, and it says simple syrup, Meyer Brothers simple syrup. And the other one is a Demerara syrup, which is
what's that?
It turns out like a brownish color.
Oh,
a lot of cool craft cocktails you can make. And I've got all these. They're like postcards with all these different recipes. Okay. A rum old fashioned with Demerara syrup. Really good. A coffee old fashioned with Demerara syrup.
What?
A coffee old fashioned with the Demerara. It's got like a molasses based flavor. It's just Demerara sugar.
How come you didn't bring this? Like, I would have been all over that. That sounds amazing.
Well, I've got we only sell 375 bottle.
Oh, is that how you do it? Okay. So it's a smaller bottle.
Yeah, the simple and the Dem are. Oh, I think I gave my last one away yesterday.
Oh, that's all right. Don't worry about it.
I might have one in the.
We'll try it later.
I'll check it out.
Off camera. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'll give you one if I have one.
I'll happily buy it from you, Bob. Anyway, so I didn't know, like, when people did coffee old fashions. Maybe that's ignorant of me. What are, like, the ways that people spice up old fashions? What are the ways that people actually make them, like, more complex that you've seen there? It's just like, holy shit, this is actually really good. Putting you on the spot there, Bob.
You did. Yeah, I mean, are you talking about our mix, or are you
no, just an old fashioned that you've seen? Because you've gone to, I'm going to guess, hundreds and hundreds of bars and restaurants. Oh, is that your mom? It's like, I got to take this. All right, guys, we're back with Bob here. Bob had to take an important call. Thank you, Bob, for doing that, and make sure your customers are happy. Anyway, so let's go through this of, just kind of wrapping up. It's some of these questions that I've been dying to ask you. Why did you not cheapen your product and go with like a corn syrup or some kind of crap versus like white sugar? Is it mainly because it was the original recipe, or what's the story?
I want to stay true to the original.
Yeah. And
its quality. I don't want to compare it to bourbons or whatever, but you can buy an inexpensive bourbon. If you really want the good one, you're going to pay the money to get the good one.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, I don't know. And
I assume that's the same reason that you're doing glass as well, because I Did a little bit of market research on Bob Meyer. And a lot of people are actually going around and feeling the bottles, and if it's plastic, even if it's a good product, they are just blowing it off versus using glass, which I'm really amazed about. So is that the same reason, I assume?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just a nicer look in glass.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a better product. Well, that's good. All right. So what do you have coming on? Are you still just chugging away, or how are things going out there in the field of everything? Okay.
Yeah. Especially this time of year.
Selling like crazy.
I'm in the market quite a bit. Sampling, like I said, I was in La Crosse last week for 3 days.
Hanging out with La Crosse Distilling, I hope.
Yeah, Lee and I had a few together Thursday night.
He's great. He's the best.
But yeah, the new Hy-Vee store, I was there Thursday and Saturday, and then there's a few festival foods out there that are really good customers. So I was at the one in Alaska on Friday.
Oh, cool. Awesome. So now's the time, kind of a big push. I know that like alcohol season for like, I didn't know this because like beer season, this is when we kind of have like a slow period per se.
Yeah.
But alcohol is the opposite. This is when you guys are like, I make like 30 to 40% of my revenue in these last like 2 to 3 months. Is that correct?
You nailed it. Yeah. November, December are best. For the old-fashioned mix, definitely the best. The ready-to-drink cocktails, maybe, April through...
What, like the beer season?
August, September.
Yeah, exactly. September, October. August, that's when you make your money. April through September, October.
On the cans, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so convenient. You can take it on the
boat, take it out.
Yeah, on the beach, wherever.
That's why it's canned. Got it. So, okay, cool. That's awesome. Well, that's all I really got for you, Bob. So look, just to summarize here, you got your awesome old-fashioned mix. We got your canned cocktails. You got this Demerara. Is it Demerara?
Demerara. And I'll get you a bottle of that.
Demerara.
I'll give you some recipe cards, too. They're pretty... We spent some money on them. They look kind of nice. I've got a display at the Bay Square Mall in Green Bay where I have one of our bars I use for the trade show, a big wooden bar at Meyer Brothers with a banner behind it. I've just got bottles spread across the bar, and I got the simple and the Demerara there. And I just show up once a week and then collect the money, and it's like a consignment store. And it's called Door County Christmas. Those are other products. Door County cherries, stuff like that.
Sure.
I don't have to be there. I just restock every week, and
that's it. But
I was surprised some of the Demeraras are selling because the recipe cards are right next to them, and people can say, "Oh, I can make a coffee old fashioned with this."
I think random. Then after this, I got to wrap this up. There's so many people out there who want to learn how to make a cocktail, want to know how to cook something, want to do something that's like special or unique, but they're just like, what do I do with this product? What do I do? How do I, what do I go forward with it? And I think you're nailing it with those cards.
One thing really, really quick that I pretty much ran out of them, though. We had some YouTube videos shot about 4 or 5 years ago with the old-fashioned mix, and we experimented with making a Meyer Brothers martini with the mix, Meyer Brothers Manhattan, Meyer Brothers daiquiri, some real cool things with different liquors in them. We have a gin cocktail, like a Scotty 75, like a French 75.
Sure.
One that has like a mimosa, like a breakfast drink with this stuff in it. So it's pretty cool.
Are they still out there? I'm gonna go Google this.
It's one thing I don't do is the website, but if it's not up and running on there, it needs to be on there because we spend a lot of money on those videos.
Yeah, absolutely. You should get those on there. So awesome. So last question. I asked this with a lot of people. What do you see as the future of alcohol? What do you think is like the future of what's going to happen with like pre-made cocktails, with your product, with like the future of the alcohol industry? Do you see the curves coming, or any thoughts?
I'd say to summarize, I think people want to be fast. The ready-to-drink cocktails are just huge right now. I mean, it just seems like everybody's making a canned cocktail.
Sure.
All your big companies are making canned cocktails.
Cool. Well, thank you for hanging out with me, Bob. I always love chatting with you. Let me tell you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Absolutely, bud. All right. Well, that wraps up our episode hanging out with Mr. Bob Meyer. And thanks so much, guys. See you later.